China announced this morning that from next week they will be imposing 34% tariffs on all US goods from April 10th. Here in the UK, the message from Downing Street is keep calm, carry on. But they have produced a list which extends over 417 pages of imported US products that could be in the crosshairs. Beyond obvious targets like Bourbon and Levi jeans, the list includes lavatory seats, mosaics, thoroughbred horses. The CEO of JCB, Graham MacDonald, who is one of those that have been in to advise the Prime Minister, says hitting back would be futile. His company, which manufactures big agricultural machinery, is soon to open a second plant in the United States in San Antonio, Texas.
No. Entering into a trade war with an economy the size of the US, the US is bigger than India, UK, Germany, Brazil put together by significant margin. We are not in a position to, and it's a trade war we can only lose. So my advice, if the Jonathan Reynolds or any of the government are listening, do not retaliate, negotiate. Our supply chain is global in nature and it's complex, first tier, second tier. Every factory in the world has parts coming from every different other parts of the world. So and we've really got to get a definition from the administration to say, what does Make in America mean? Rules will become clearer in the coming weeks and months. Right now, they're not particularly clear, but we make our own engines, we make our own transmissions, axles, but we make them all in the UK. So right now, I have no plan to set up an engine factory in the US. So the answer is yes, we've got to really look at what the supply chain, the impact on the supply chain means.
Yeah. No one car or one truck is made in one country. It is very much a global industry. And I'm just looking at futures for the US markets. The auto stocks are down deep, Ford and General Motors in particular. Let's see then what Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, makes of all that. Of course, he's in Brussels to talk NATO and the future of the alliance, but it is trade and tariffs which is uppermost in the minds of the US allies. He's been speaking in the last few minutes. Let's listen to that.
Their markets are reacting to a dramatic change in the global order in terms of trade. And so what happens is pretty straightforward. If you're a company and you make a bunch of your products in China, and all of a sudden shareholders or people that play the stock market realize that it's going to cost a lot more to produce in China, your stock is going to go down. But ultimately, the markets, as long as they know what the rules are going to be moving forward, and as long as that's set and you can sustain where you're going to be, the markets will adjust. Businesses around the world, including in trade and global trade, they just need to know what the rules are. Once they know what the rules are, they will adjust to those rules. So I don't think it's fair to say economies are crashing. Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States. We have to be a country that thinks we're the largest consumer market in the world, and yet the only thing we export is services. And we need to stop that. We need to get back to a time where we're a country that can make things, and to do that we have to reset the global order of trade.
And the other part of my question.
Well, the worst thing is to leave it the way it is forever. I mean, just can't continue. We can't continue to be a country that doesn't make things. We have to be able to make things to provide jobs for Americans. That's it. It's that simple. China is an example. I mean, it's outrageous. I mean, they don't consume anything. All they do is export and flood and distort markets, in addition to all the tariffs and barriers they put in place. So the president rightly has concluded that the current status of global trade is bad for America and good for a bunch of other people, and he's going to reset it, and he's absolutely right to do it.